Hey everybody, welcome to Mammoth Interactive's YouTube channel. First of all, I want to thank you for watching this video. And remember that this channel doesn't do Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital courses down below. And every single dollar that we get from the products you buy below goes into making more content. The best way to help out this channel and Mammoth Interactive is to subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. Get thousands of hours and hundreds of courses for a low price down below. We have a monthly option and a yearly option. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the video.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our course. In this lecture, we are discussing what is Decentraland. Decentraland is the first fully decentralized virtual world. It is a decentralized virtual reality platform that you can access on the browser, not necessarily only with a VR headset, and it's powered by the Ethereum blockchain. With Decentraland, you can create, experience, and monetize content and applications. The content that makes up Decentraland is stored and distributed via a decentralized network. Ownership and transactions are validated on the Ethereum blockchain. Decentraland uses Mana as its cryptocurrency token. This is a fungible token, meaning it can be divisible, and every token can be interchanged for another token. Like the dollar bill is fungible because every dollar bill can be swapped for another dollar bill. And Decentraland's cryptocurrency token Mana, it follows the ERC20 standard for a fungible token, which means that it complies with Ethereum's standards for building fungible tokens. Decentraland's Mana token is fully decentralized. The private key that controlled its smart contract has been thrown away. What can we do with the Mana crypto coin? Well, we can burn or spend Mana in exchange for land parcels. This is land in the Decentraland universe. And you can trade Mana with other users in exchange for goods and services within Decentraland. You can read more at governance.decentraland.org about the transparency of Mana. Join me coming up next. We're going to discuss what is Decentraland's land and how does land work. Hello everyone, and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to discuss what is Decentraland's land. Land in Decentraland refers to 3D virtual space. This land is finite and traversable, so you can move around the land. The land is represented as a non-fungible digital asset, an NFT. Each is unique and cannot be replicated. So it's non-fungible, meaning that you can't swap one for the other and have both have the same value and meaning. This land NFT is maintained in an Ethereum smart contract. You can use land within Decentraland to build three-dimensional spaces and applications. So if you want to build a scene in Decentraland, you have to own the land plot in the virtual world. Decentraland's land is built on the ERC 721 standard. This is a standard defined by Ethereum for how you should build out your non-fungible tokens. That way, your NFTs can be compatible with different marketplaces and they can be built properly. An NFT is a digital asset that can be traded with other users. So, Decentraland's land, it follows all the rules and can be traded just like any other NFT. Next, let's discuss Decentraland versus Ethereum. Decentraland does not run on its own independent blockchain. Decentraland uses the Ethereum blockchain to store and verify information about who owns this piece of land, what is the content in the land, what 3D elements are in the land, and what can you do on the land. Decentraland also uses a server. The content within Decentraland, the 3D elements, are hosted and served to users via a network of community-owned content servers. Visual, audio, and 3D content is stored in a network of content servers. Anyone can submit a server to join this network, but it must be voted on by the community. This is handled by a decentralized autonomous organization. When you visit Decentraland, the content needed to render your location and your surrounding world is pulled from the content servers. Each land token links to this content. Coming up next, we're going to dive deeper into Decentraland's decentralized autonomous organization and how it works to run Decentraland. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are discussing what is Decentraland's decentralized autonomous organization, DAO, also commonly called the Decentralized Autonomous Company. Who runs Decentraland? Who owns Decentraland? The answer is Decentraland runs itself and no one owns Decentraland. It is a decentralized entity and a decentralized organization, meaning that the blockchain smart contracts, they run Decentraland, and the community, whoever interacts with these smart contracts, they own Decentraland and they govern it. This is the basis of a decentralized autonomous organization. It's an organization represented by rules encoded as a computer program or smart contract. This contract is transparent, it lives on the blockchain, and anyone can access it and see what are its contents. This decentralized autonomous organization can be any organization that is run by Ethereum smart contracts or contracts on another blockchain. The organization is controlled by the organization members. It doesn't have a central owner. There's no CEO, doesn't have a central government. If there is a decision to be made, votes can be cast to the smart contract, and the smart contract will then take the votes and make a decision based on the votes. And who can vote? Anyone can vote if you make the transaction to the smart contract. So this is the basis of any decentralized autonomous organization, and Decentraland is a decentralized organization. So the actual world of Decentraland is governed by the Decentraland DAO. The DAO owns the most important smart contracts and assets that make up the Decentraland world. The decentralized autonomous organization owns land contract, estates contract, wearables, content servers, and the marketplace. As well, the DAO owns substantial mana cryptocurrency. This will allow it to be anonymous and to subsidize operations. You, as a visitor to Decentraland or an interactor with it, are in control of the policies created to determine the world. You have a say. You can vote in the policies of how Decentraland is run. For example, you can vote on what kinds of wearable items should be allowed, what content should be allowed, what is the policy on land and auctions. You can vote on policy updates and propose policy updates. You can vote on future land auctions and whitelisting of NFT contracts that should be allowed in the world, in the builder, and in the marketplace. Voting takes place on the Decentraland DAO's governance interface, which is powered by Aragon, an open source infrastructure with governance plugins. Some more examples of what you can do with the DAO is upgrade land and estates to add more features, specify the dates and rules for future land auctions, vote on the size of marketplace fees, which is in mana that gets burnt, vote on primary sale fees, also in mana, vote on the addition and replacement of servers, vote on the allocation of grants, vote on addition of new wearables for characters in the world, and vote on who should be a member of the council. So that is an overview of the Decentraland Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Coming up next, we're going to discuss how Ethereum and Decentraland's land work together. So don't miss the next lecture. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to discuss how Ethereum works with Decentraland's land. An Ethereum land smart contract will register any changes to the state of a piece of land. This includes change in the contents of the land or change in the ownership of the land. These changes are recorded and verified by the Ethereum blockchain. Let's discuss these briefly mentioned parcels of land. Every piece of land is divided into parcels identified by Cartesian coordinates, meaning x, y coordinates. A parcel is permanently owned by a member of the community and can be purchased using mana. A land token will include for each piece of land, each parcel, a record of the coordinates, the owner of the parcel, and a reference to the content description file or the parcel manifest. This will outline what is in the land. It describes and encodes the content that the owner of the land wishes to serve on their land. For example, if I want to build a role-playing game and put it onto Decentraland, I have to buy a piece of land and then serve the game in that piece of land. Users like you and me have full control over the environments and applications that we create. These can be static, three-dimensional scenes, or interactive applications, or games, and more. Next, we'll discuss Decentraland's land versus mana. Mana is the cryptocurrency, the native token of Decentraland. It is burned, meaning spent, in exchange for land parcels. So you can buy land with mana. The amount of land in Decentraland corresponds to the fixed total amount of mana. So when Decentraland was first created, there was an initial amount of mana that cannot be changed. And the amount of land available to us is equal to or related to, correlates with that amount of mana. This ensures that the value of parcels remains stable. Without land scarcity, if we had infinite land, many parcels would be abandoned, and this would reduce the quality of the content. How do you own Decentraland land? Well, as mentioned, you can purchase land with mana. Non-fungible land tokens, so NFTs, will track the ownership on the Ethereum blockchain. If you own the NFT, then you own that land parcel. This is the same as owning any other NFT, like a crypto kitty or a crypto punk. Decentraland also has districts. Some parcels are further organized into themed communities or districts, and you can create shared spaces with common interests and uses. So you can organize land pieces into districts. In Decentraland, we also have estates. An estate is a non-fungible digital asset, and it is equal to 2 or more directly adjacent parcels of land. These parcels cannot be separated by a road plaza or any other parcel. So if you have 2 parcels directly next to each other, you can create an estate. This allows you to manage larger land holdings. You can have a bigger world for your scene. You can build larger scenes that span more than one parcel. To buy land or estates, go to the Decentraland marketplace at market.decentraland.org. As well, Decentraland uses a digital wallet to handle payments. The digital wallet is your personal account where you can store your digital assets like names, collectibles, the land that you have, and your in-world progress. You don't need to have a wallet. You can access Decentraland as a guest user. You'll get a guest ID and a guest avatar. You can walk around, customize your avatar, and chat, but the information will only be stored locally. You can't get daily rewards. You can't participate in events. You can't log in with a different device. Next up, we're going to discuss how to develop for Decentraland. How do you build scenes and programs for Decentraland? How do you build games and apps for Decentraland and worlds inside of the Decentraland world? Don't miss that next lecture. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are discussing how do you develop for Decentraland? How do you build scenes, apps, and games? Well, one option is to use the builder where you can build your scenes and your 3D objects with an easy drag and drop visual tool. Another option is to use the software development kit to create scenes with code. You can also use a blended approach of using the builder and the SDK. The software development kit is what we're going to learn in this course. We'll also take a look at the builder. So we'll take a look at the blended approach, but primarily the software development kit. With the Decentraland SDK, you can control how certain content on your parcel is served to other users. So you have a lot of control about what is in your land and how it can be accessed. For example, you can build a house and only allow certain addresses to enter the house. You're free to decide whether you will charge other players to access the content in your scene. If you have any troubles throughout the way, there are many community servers out there where you can ask questions, like the official Discord for Decentraland at dcl.gg/discord. And of course, Stack Overflow, GitHub, and many other websites online for help developing. So coming up in the next section, we're going to do an overview of development, including what you can do with the SDK, what you need to develop, and how a scene works in Decentraland to render an environment or a game or an app. Then we'll jump into building a scene together. With that software development kit, we'll also take a look at the builder. So don't miss the next section. Hello everyone, and welcome back. In this lecture, we're beginning our section, an overview of developing for Decentraland. Starting off, we'll discuss what can you do with the Decentraland software development kit. One thing you can do is generate a project with a Decentraland scene. You can create a default project that includes all the assets required to render and run your content, and you can immediately preview the scene and run it, and you can add more content or edit the content to your heart's desire. You can build, test, and preview the content of a scene locally in your web browser. This is completely offline. You don't have to make any Ethereum transactions, own any land, or own any mana. You can preview your scene just like you would preview a regular website that you built out with a web server. As well, with the Decentraland SDK, you can write TypeScript code using the Decentraland API to add interactive and dynamic behavior to the scene. So you don't have to just have a static scene, you can have interactions and dynamic behaviors and animations. TypeScript is the primary language, but you can use other languages as well. With the software development kit, you can upload the content of your scene to the content server. You can link your land tokens to the URL of the content that you've uploaded, and you can publish your scenes to Decentraland. Coming up next, we're going to talk about what is available in the Decentraland SDK. One tool that we will install is the Decentraland command line interface. This allows you to generate new Decentraland scenes from your terminal. You can generate the scenes locally on your computer. You can preview the scenes and upload them to Decentraland's server. Another tool of the SDK is Decentraland ECS. This is a TypeScript package that has a library of helper methods to help you create interactive experiences. You can create and manipulate objects in the scene and facilitate transactions between players or applications. As well, in the software development kit are scene examples, and more is being developed over time and added to the kit. Join me in the next lecture. We're going to discuss what do you need to develop for Decentraland. Hello everyone, and welcome back. In this lecture, we are discussing what do you need to develop for Decentraland. To develop a scene locally on your computer and test it out, you don't need any land tokens or mana cryptocurrency. You can build your scene completely offline, and you don't have to deploy it to the network or server. For testing, once you're ready to put your scene onto Decentraland, then you will need a piece of land, so a land token, to put your scene into Decentraland. You will need to install Node and NPM. In the terminal, this will allow you to handle your scene dependencies and to install the Decentraland command line interface. So we will include for you a section on how to use the command line interface, how to install NPM, and how to install Decentraland. The Decentraland CLI is used to build, preview, and upload scenes. As well, you will need a source code editor, and this will allow you to edit your scene with code. We recommend Visual Studio Code or Atom. Decentraland supports different programming languages. TypeScript is recommended, but you can use another tool or language and compile it into JavaScript, as long as the compiled scripts are contained within a single JavaScript file named game.js, which we'll see in our project. As well, Decentraland has scenes. So what does it actually mean to build a scene in Decentraland? We're going to break down the scene in the next lecture. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to break down what is a scene in Decentraland. The scene refers to the content that you deploy to your land. The scene is the interactive program that renders the content. The scene that you build is rendered and viewable on the Decentraland web client, so you can view it in your web browser. An example of a scene could be a game, an interactive experience, an art gallery, a 3D environment, and more. Everything in a scene is represented as an entity. This entity can include components that determine its characteristics, like it could be a house or it could be a table with characteristics. These components store information about that entity. As well, in a scene, you can have systems. A system will hold functions that change information stored in components. Note that scenes don't run in the same context as the engine. That means that the code of a scene cannot access the web page document object model or the window of the web page. As well, Decentraland has a game loop. This is the backbone of a Decentraland scene's code. The game loop will cycle through part of the code at a regular interval, such as every frame. The game loop will listen for player input, update the scene, and re-render the scene when there needs to be a change. And that is an introduction to Decentraland's scene and the game loop. Coming up next, we're going to do an introduction to blockchain and the command line. Then we're going to install Node, NPM, and Decentraland. Then we're going to have an introduction on JavaScript, and we can then build out our scene. So if you have experience with any of the prerequisites, then feel free to skip them. Otherwise, if you are new to a certain topic, then watch that prerequisite section. And I'm excited to take you through the rest of the course, so join me in the next section. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to learn how to install the Decentraland command line interface. This allows you to work with Decentraland via your terminal or command line. So you can build Decentraland scenes, build Decentraland projects, preview the scenes, deploy them to a test server, and publish them to Decentraland. So everything that you want to do with Decentraland, you do with the Decentraland command line interface. So let's go ahead and install it. For the installation, you will need Node version 14 or greater, and with Node, you will need NPM, and typically they come as a bundled package. So you should have Node and NPM installed on your computer. If you are on Windows, then open up your command prompt application as an administrator by right-clicking and selecting Run as Administrator. Then use the command npm install. You're using the Node Package Manager to install a package. Use the -G flag to install the package globally, and then install the package called Decentraland. So that is on Windows. If you are on a Mac, then you're going to open up your terminal application and use the command sudo, which means you are running the terminal command as an administrator. Then you're going to use npm install -G Decentraland. So very similar. Hit enter and enter in your password for your computer and hit enter again. And I spelled Decentraland wrong, so just be careful about the spelling of your commands. Spelling and casing is important to get correct on a Unix terminal for Mac and Linux. On Windows, again, spelling is very important, casing is less important. So after a few seconds, you should have Decentraland installed. You'll have about 650 packages installed. In my case, they are changed because I already had Decentraland. So now you can check that you have Decentraland installed with the command DCL in your terminal. This will give you a bunch of suggestions of what you can do with Decentraland. For example, you can use DCL-version to check the version of Decentraland that you have. If you encounter any problems with Decentraland, then downgrade to version 3.9.0, which is the one that I am currently using, the latest one at this time. If you are not able to use the command DCL, which is short for Decentraland, then try restarting the terminal or command prompt. Also try restarting your computer. Check to make sure that you installed everything correctly. You can try installing again. You can also check that DCL was added to your environment variables. Now, you can also turn off usage data for Decentraland because by default it will track your statistics anonymously. So if you are on Windows, use the command notepad followed by this squiggly line with a / .dcl info. This is the info file for Decentraland. So that is the command for Windows. If you are on Mac, use the command nano followed by that squiggle hyphen / .dcl info and hit enter. You should see your user ID and your track stats, two properties for the Decentraland info. The user ID you shouldn't change, but the track stats you can change from true to false. So you just use your arrow keys on your keyboard to move around, and you can just hit delete to change values. When you're done, hit Control X to exit, hit Y for yes to save the file, and then hit enter on file name to write. This will bring you back to your terminal. And if you're on Windows, then you just have to edit the file with your notepad because you use the command notepad. So that is how you can install Decentraland and turn off tracking statistics or usage data. Join me coming up next. We are going to learn how we can use Decentraland and build scenes.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this course. If you want to watch the rest of the course, the link is down below. Not only do we get the access to this course, but you'll get access to a lot of other courses in a huge bundle, and it's on sale today. So buy before the sale ends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.